Well, hello there, class. It is Miss D here. I am sure that you had a wonderful debate on residential development in your last class and are anxious to get to today's lesson. The topic for this class is economic development and industry. Be sure that you are filling out those worksheets as you listen. Your instructor for today is Stephen Fedvernicki, one of the senior planners for Parklandia.
Hello there. My name is Stephen Fedvernicki, and I am one of the senior planners for Parklandia. Today I will be teaching you about economic development and industry. Economic development means different things to different people. On a broad scale, anything a community does to foster and create a healthy economy can fall under the general definition of economic development. More specifically, economic development usually refers to the adoption of new technologies, a transition from agricultural-based to an industry-based economy, and general improvement in a community's living standard. At its heart, economic development is about building a healthy economy in order to have a healthy community. Economic development is important so that our communities can constantly grow and evolve. Economic development has a number of financial and social benefits for a community, such as increased tax base, job development, business retention, economic diversification, self-sufficiency, productive use of property, increased quality of life, and recognition of local products. Industry can be classified into different categories or levels for a better understanding of the different types and for making it easier to study. The three main industries in Parklandia are primary industries, also known as natural resource industries, are those that extract or produce raw materials from which useful items can be made. Extraction of raw materials includes forestry, fishing, agriculture, mining, and energy. An example of a primary industry in Parklandia could include the energy or coal mining operations at the power plants near our farming community. Secondary industries, also known as manufacturing industries, are those that change raw materials into usable products through processing and manufacturing. Bakeries that make flour into bread and factories that change metals and plastics into vehicles are examples of secondary industries. The bee-made honey processing facility within the small city is an example of a secondary industry in our Parklandia. Tertiary industries, the third type of industry, are those that provide essential services and support to allow other levels of industry to function. Often simply called service industries, this level includes transportation, finance, utilities, education, retail, housing, medical, and other services. The majority of businesses within the industrial area that is soon to come to Parklandia are service industries that support the primary industries of mining and transportation of goods and services. More than 75% of all the jobs in Parklandia are in the service industry. Although some studies only refer to 3 levels of industry, more advanced studies classify industry into 5 levels, adding an additional 2 levels. Quaternary industries are those for the creation and transfer of information, including research and training. These are often called information industries. A large data processing center or a university is an example of a quaternary industry. Information industries can create significant wealth for a community. Quinary industries, or the 5th industry, are those that control the industrial and government decision-making processes. This level includes scientists, industry executives, and management and elected officials in government. Policies and laws are made and implemented at this level. The elected officials of Parklandia and the other municipalities in and around it are examples of quinary industry in our community. Industrial development is not always sustainable because there can be some negative impacts. 2 examples of negative impacts from industry on our local communities include the loss of fertile agricultural land for industrial development, which requires a wide area, both to establish the industry itself and for other infrastructure, such as housing and offices. Often additional land is also required to buffer land uses away from industrial development, such as residential. Also, industry can cause pollution, especially in the form of air, water, soil, sound, and light pollution. Industrial waste that is not processed first may harm the health and livelihood of the surrounding environment. Large amounts of carbon-based fuels like gasoline and diesel are required to move goods and services between two or more locations, regardless if it's by air, land, or sea. It is therefore very important for a community to plan and consider where and how industry is to be located within its boundaries. It must also consider that some industries can only be located within certain areas of the community. For example, the power plants within Parklandia need to be in close proximity to the raw materials or coal, as the raw materials are not located in other parts of the community.
Fantastic information, Stephen. Since you now know all the ins and outs of economic development and industry, it's time to get down and dirty in Parklandia. Parklandia needs to choose a location for its new industrial park. Option 1 would place the industrial park close to the cities, the highways, and the railroad tracks. Option 2 would place the industrial park away from all of those things. Today, you will hear from 3 stakeholders, including a worker, a member of the Small City Residents Association, and the Industrial Business Association's president. Let's hear them out.
Hello, I am an industrial worker. I prefer option 1, where the industrial park is closer to where my co-workers and I live. This location will decrease travel time to and from work, as well as deliveries and railroad shipping. I do not like option 2 because it would take me too long to get to work and I would waste valuable production time traveling, since I would be constantly back and forth to the railroad and the big city.
Well, hey everybody. I belong to the Small City Residents Association. We prefer option 2 because it is far away from the small city. We do not like the alternative option because we would have to share our roads with all of those trucks. Also, industry activities tend to have odors, noise, and unwanted visuals. They have to provide light to all of those buildings, and we would have to see them all of the time. No, thank you.
Good day. I am the president of the Industrial Park Business Association. I prefer option 1 because being so close to the big city will help with business relations. It will also bring us closer to our workers. The businesses would be able to save costs on transportation and shipping because of the location. If the industrial park were to be placed at the option 2 location, businesses would have to pay their workers higher wages in order to attract them, meaning they may not be able to offer as many positions. Also, because of the distance between this site and the big city, the businesses may lose potential customers. In addition to this, we would have to construct a railway station on the west side of Parklandia, since there is not one there currently.
Those are some great points, stakeholders. Okay, class, now that you have heard from the community, let's split up into our groups. Group 1, today you are mayor and council. Group 2, today you are defending option 1. Group 3, today you are defending option 2. In the spirit of democracy, make sure everyone has their turn and is fairly considered. I will see you all next time for our resource extraction class. Until then, happy debating!